In this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 essential meetings that I have inside my businesses each and every single week that I feel are imperative to ensure a high-performing, successful organisation and keep your finger on the pulse of your business each and every week. If you're new here, my name's Taylor Tassie. I'm a UK business owner, and over the last few years, I've built a group of businesses approaching 10 million in turnover involved in the promotional products and print sector, the property sector, and the waste management sector. I employ close to 50 people here in the UK across a couple of different businesses on a couple of different sites. And over the last few years, I've learned a thing or two about what makes a few businesses really tick. And I want to share my journey with others right here on the YouTube channel. So the first meeting that I think is absolutely critical for me each and every single week for each company that I operate is our weekly business review. This weekly business review is actually an idea that we adopted from the Amazon philosophy, from a book that we read, Working Backwards. Now, this whole concept of the WBR was something that Amazon coined and that we have used within the business, and we effectively take our input and our output metrics of all of our key core KPIs from the different departments within each business. Each department lead compiles that information into a metrics deck that we currently compile within Excel, and that has trailing week-on-week performance metrics and month-on-month performance metrics to show trends and variances in the data week to week and month to month against our forecasted budget or targets. We will assess everything from every department over a couple of hour-long meeting that is brought to the table from each department head. To give you an example of some marketing metrics we would measure, we would look at how many articles are published each week, what our conversion rate, what our adoption on the landing page is, how many new videos and pieces of content we've put out, and so on and so forth. And what you find there is there's input metrics, which is all the things that we can control, such as the volume of posts we've put out, the number of ads we've run that week, the ad spend we've put in, the number of blogs that have been created. And then we also assess how they impact our output metrics, which would be things like website conversion rate, number of leads generated, so on, so forth. And we do that for each and every department. Each department head brings the document along with their analysis and presents it to the rest of the management team. This meeting happens on a Monday, and if we are very stacked during the day and there's other commitments, we will push it into Monday evening because we feel it is a very imperative meeting that the entire senior team is on board with, and we review each metric deck, and that sets the tone for the week as to where the potential fires are and where there is issues, bottlenecks or backlogs that we need to jump on. So we will assess things like our visual response time, our answering the phone response time, those kinds of things, so we can spot from a very helicopter above the business level, we can really spot where things are starting to become a choke point and where we may have input metrics that are going to impact our end of month financial figures. And we have the ability, by assessing that on a week-to-week basis, we can spot signs early, look at the trend lines in the graphs and really understand what our data is telling us, and not just be running the business based on the end of month profit and loss. So our weekly business review is an essential meeting for us, and we hold that for each business that we operate. The second most important meeting that is essential for me each week to make sure that my business is run successfully is actually the morning meeting with myself. This meeting has become a fundamental part of my day and is carved into my diary each and every morning with a 30-minute slot. The first meeting I have is always with myself. I take a coffee when I come in the morning, I take my journal out, and I sit and reflect and ask myself a set of questions and really digest my diary, look ahead, and have some deep quality thinking time with myself. I ask myself questions every day, which I physically write into my diary. Things like, I can do anything but not everything today. What truly matters? And I will force myself to prize out the real top priorities. Running a business with so many team members with so many different opportunities, there is always a fire to fight. There is always something that I'd love to be working on. There's always a new opportunity knocking at my door. And I have to really wrestle with those at times and be really strict with myself on how I allow myself to get too involved with certain things that are going on within the business. And so when I take that time to really stop, sit and reflect, I find I bring out 3 or 4 of the real critical needle movers that I must force myself to spend the time on each morning. I sit, I reflect, I look at my diary in front of me and my Outlook calendar to see what my assistant's booked me for the day. I then compare that with what I've just put within my journal as to what my own gut is telling me. And at that point, I can make decisions as to if things need to be sacrificed, moved, rejigged, or if there's something that's been missed. I ask myself those questions and I practice gratitude. I write down all the things I feel every morning are going well within the business and my life right now. And I also put on the other sheet all the things that I think are my biggest threats, problems and obstacles right now that I need to solve and fix. I review my 90-day goal frame that sits on my desk every single morning, and that is all the things that I set that in the next 90 days I want to have achieved. I stare at that frame every single morning. It's also on my bedside table at home, so I'm seeing my goals and I'm seeing what I need to really do within the next 90 days. So I try and block out those distractions of the small, minute, everyday operational things that is so easy for me to get dragged involved into. So a critical meeting for me is my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday meeting with myself every morning, in peace, in quiet, with my coffee, my own thoughts and my journal. I think it is an absolute game changer. Have a set of questions you ask yourself religiously every morning and get your thoughts out of here and onto paper. The next critical meeting for me is my executive assistant daily review. I religiously have a meeting with my executive assistant, Kelly, every single morning. Now, if I'm not within the business and I'm not in the office, that will take place over a Teams call or on the mobile if I'm driving or traveling. But religiously, we will speak every single morning for usually 15 to 30 minutes. And that meeting has a very clear agenda. We review my to-do list brain dump. We operate on an app called Microsoft To Do. And every day, any thoughts that come into my mind, be it day or night, I pop them in Microsoft To Do, which Kelly then works her way through, and she will ask me for more information about what I meant by that, what I need help with that. She will then extract it from the brain dump location of Microsoft To Do and schedule that into her workload. We then look at my diary for the day ahead, and she gives me any information about anything she's booked, any context to anything that needs changing, and we review anything that may need to be advised that I'm going to be slightly late for, travel arrangements, etc. We have that meeting, and we're then also looking at the following day so we can try and be proactive as to anything that needs to be scheduled, changed or edited. That meeting is absolutely critical for me. It sets the day so that I can unload as much information that's in my brain of little small tasks, things that are weighing on my mind. I can get an update from Kelly each morning on projects that she's already taken off of me days prior, and she gives me context on how it's going, what's been closed off, and therefore it's like a big tick in my mind. I don't need to think about it anymore. And then she's releasing the last night's thoughts out of my brain and taking that off of me. So going back to what I said earlier, that the real key needle movers that I've put in my journal, I can then be really free mentally to focus on only the highest level activities that are going to move the business forward for myself and my team to make sure that we're building the company for a better tomorrow. The fourth style of meeting that I think is imperative, and this will vary for different businesses of different sizes. Each day of the week is themed for a different department, and I spend a 1 hour time slot with every department head or the core people within that division. For example, on a Tuesday is an operations and production day, and I spend an hour with Cody, who heads up our operations and production for our Totally Branded business. And in that meeting is a one-to-one with the department head where we look at the metrics again. We understand the challenges, what's going well, and we set actions, and I give my opinion on where I feel we need to be going so that that department is working in tandem with the wider strategic business goals. I relay context and information from other departments that I've had meetings with, and I have a full visibility by spending different days with different departments. I fully understand different departments' challenges and how they interlink. In my one-to-one with the lead of that department, I can then feed that back. I can offer input, advice, guidance, and a fresh pair of eyes on a challenge they might be coping with. It also allows me to allocate budget, additional budget, find solutions, and sometimes allow us to get external people in, friends within the industry, to move things forward. And we look at our strategy, our 90-day goals, and our 1 week ahead goals with the department head each and every week during that one-to-one 1 hour. And then we set goals that in 1 week from now we'll report back, and we should have ticked those goals that we noted down last week. After the meeting, those goals that we set are documented, shared between us via email. Anything that I need to do to contribute to that department is put into my diary to make sure that I actually do it. And likewise for the department head, they would do the same. They take it away, and if everything is successful, we shouldn't need to communicate for another week until we see each other again, because we know what each other's got to do to push the needle forward on the goals and the wider strategy that we're aiming for. We report back next week and see how we're going. Hopefully everything on the list is ticked on both sides, and if it isn't, we explain why, what bottlenecks we've hit, and we carry that over to the following week. And that, I believe, is an essential ingredient to make sure that you spend a good 1 hour with each department head, seeing what you can do to support and what they can do to support the wider business strategy, discuss challenges, obstacles, and what's going well, and then we can move forward and keep pushing the needle forward for a better tomorrow. So that's it. They are my core meetings that I believe every successful business that is looking to grow, looking to run like a well-oiled machine, should be having at a management level each and every single week. They're the things that I rely on to keep me sane and to keep us building for a better tomorrow. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if you have any other essential meetings that you feel are imperative within a business each and every week. And if you have, please drop the note in the comments, because I'd love to learn more about other people's styles of running businesses to see if there's anything I can learn. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to follow along and see more of our videos of us documenting the journey of building the businesses, then please like and subscribe to this video. It helps us more than you know.